This week, gorgeous Gus, who's grounded in the U.S., demos the workout.
We've got double dumbbell snatches, toes to bar, and double unders.
We release these workouts right here on YouTube every Thursday at 1 p.m.
Join our entire community to practice the skill of competing.
Use the next 2 days to plan a strategy, grab some friends, and throw down on Saturday.
See where you stack up each week on our Throwdown leaderboard. It's free to sign up. Go to trainingthinktank.com/throwdown.
This week's throwdown is a 10-minute AMRAP, 5 double dumbbell power snatches, 8 toes to bar, and 36 double unders.
And the movement standards this week are brought to you by Training Think Tank's Design, our online training program. For the double dumbbell snatches, make sure that one head on both hands touches the ground, and you have to come in one pass overhead to full extension. For the toes to bar, it's a standard toe to bar. Make sure both feet touch the bar at the same time. And the double unders, 2 passes, every one jump.
I can't really give you that much context for who Gustavo is and how good of an athlete he is. He's grounded in the U.S., meaning he can't get back to his home country, which I'm not even sure where is it. Costa Rica, Venezuela?
He's trying to go to Costa Rica. He's from Venezuela. He's trapped.
Yeah, we couldn't find him on the CrossFit Games leaderboard. He's not doing a Training Think Tank program, but he's been a good dude, good addition to the environment, relatively well-rounded and fit and strong. So
how long
that's
has he been
much.
here?
He's been here for like
It's been a while, yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah, so that's the
He's
context you
one
get.
of us.
A really good athlete. Don't forget, starting next Thursday, we're going to announce our first of 3 weeks of team series training workouts.
That was good.
I said that really poorly, but we have a team series. It's going to be male-male, male-female, or female-female. You pick your partner. They must be together because the workouts, some of them will be synchro or you go, I go variations, but that will start next week and go through for 3 weeks.
Who's your partner, Max?
Brandy. During these workouts, I'm sure you've been breathing heavy, and if you are breathing heavy and you want some education on how to improve your breathing, I just put up a series in the classroom about breathing. That's all I got.
Let's go see Gustavo's strategy.
Voy a ir unbroken en los snatches, toes to bar y double unders, transiciones cortas y mantenerme consistente. Va a estar bueno.
Did you guys get all that?
I think so.
Yes, very much.
So Gus said that he's planning on going unbroken on all the movements, keep his transition short, and stay consistent throughout the workout. So not really much of a breakup strategy, but you don't, for someone like him, you don't really need that in this kind of workout.
Yeah, and this workout was written that the best in the sport can stay unbroken, and it's more about transitions and how fast you move.
It's very similar to 20.2, except shorter.
Yeah,
And a little longer on each movement.
I wrote the workout, so I, like Mia just said, made them a little bit longer on the movements, but shorter so that people didn't die in 20 minutes.
You're so nice,
I'm
Brandon.
so nice.
Possibly die in 10 minutes.
That's the opposite of how I write throwdown workouts. What could be the worst?
This is a good setup. So for those that are trying to get, obviously, a really good score that you know that you can go fast and unbroken, then having the dumbbells as close to your pull-up bar, and then obviously your rope like right outside of the pull-up bar makes the most sense.
So 50 seconds for one round, and then his transitions have all been like somewhere between 3 and 5 seconds, so he's still moving pretty good. Are you going to keep count there?
Yeah, I'm going to try to remember.
Yeah, I think the difference for most people that are at the top level of sport is going to be how fast you can get to the movement, like I said, and then also how fast you do your dumbbell snatches and toes to bar.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is double unders here. You can tell, I mean, he's pretty smooth in all of his movements. He's got good movement quality. I haven't really watched him train that much, but right now, and then face on with his jump rope, you can see his rope's a little bit long relative to somebody like Trav, who can jump off the ground a little bit less per rep, and that does add up. It doesn't really seem like it, but over the course of 35 reps, if Travis can do 35 and he's still at 32 or 33, over the course of 10 rounds, you're talking about a little more than 2/3 of an actual set of double unders being ahead. So it actually does allow some sort of a competitive advantage.
Yeah, and even if you can go fast, if you're like me, who like when I jump, I'm almost holding my breath by the end. It's like 20 is my number, right? Yeah. I can do 20 or 24 each round, like last year in 20.1 or 20.2, sorry. But when it gets over 30, it's like you start getting more tense, more tense. So if you're not good at bounding, then it can really fatigue you later on in a workout like this.
I think my number's like 2 or 3. I feel like I can stay smooth.
Those first 2 are fantastic.
Style in here.
So he looks really good so far. I think for some people, going back to the double unders, if you're someone that's really spinning hard, almost like at the elbow, you're going to get some fatigue later on, jumping up from the dumbbell to the toe to bar. You're going to have some grip fatigue.
So when he gets to the snatches, which will be in a few seconds, the standard here is one head of the dumbbell has to touch, right?
Yep.
It looks like he might be swinging them back behind him a little bit, which is, fine, but could be a little quicker maybe if he didn't bring them back that far.
Yeah, how do you guys hold the dumbbells when you're doing double dumbbell snatches? Is it more like middle grip, or are you guys sliding your hands to one side of the head?
I've tried sliding my hands to not have to reach down as far, but it just kind of throws me off overhead. Like, I don't think I'm strong enough overhead to kind of like throw the dumbbells around like that. I need to have more control, so that doesn't really work for me.
I don't have any conscious control of this movement.
You're just a gorilla, just ripping them off the ground.
But now I'll think about it when I do this on Saturday.
So for those, if you want to warm up, kind of practice different variations.
He's on round 4.
There are 2 ways that I recommend people to do them. If you're like a really good hinger, like you can bend at 90 degrees and breathe in that position. So like someone like me who's got a little bit longer arms in their torso and can hinge, I just keep a middle grip because that's easier for me to hold on and I don't have as much grip fatigue. But if you're someone that doesn't hinge as well, then like someone like Mike who's really powerful but maybe can't breathe in that bottom position, I would say slide your hands all the way back and let the front head of the dumbbell touch the ground. It shortens the hinge position by probably 3 or 4 inches. It makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah,
Something I do with them is I widen my feet, try to make myself a little shorter, and then I will dip under it into the press out, kind of like a push jerk. That helps me a lot.
That angle from the side view, I don't know if when he gets back to the dumbbell snatches if Chris will be there, but if not, if you rewind to his last set, you can kind of see his head gets pretty well below his hips and he gets a lot of flexion when he reaches all the way back there. I think if you can kind of stay a little bit more vertical, kind of up with your chest and maybe looking forward and point the dumbbell heads down, you can shorten the hinge range, which could just allow with like less fatigue being built up. I think this rep scheme for most more elite athletes is probably that's not going to be the limiter for most people, but it's still something you could focus on with regards to efficiency.
So he just finished round 5, just short of 5 minutes. So we'll see how the second half of the workout compares to that.
Yeah, so if he was on that pace then of 50 seconds a round, that means he'd be done at 4:10. He would have been done with 5 rounds. So obviously there's some rest and transition time kind of built in there because he's still going unbroken and his movement speed still seems pretty consistent and fast.
Yeah, what I've noticed is it's the transition from double unders back to dumbbells to make sure that he's going unbroken there. I think it probably is elongated by 3 or 4 seconds each round.
Yeah, this is pretty quick, getting off the bar, picking it up. That could maybe be a little bit quicker every round, but that's probably only a second. That's probably only relevant if you're talking about him being compared to somebody at like a world-class level.
For sure. But if you guys go back and watch 20.2 and see the world-class scores, like there were no transition times. Yeah. It was literally 2 seconds between each thing, and it was just bending over to grab your rope and then bending over to grab the dumbbells. It was really, really fast.
Yeah, I watched Frederick Egidius, and that was one of the most impressive things I've watched in CrossFit.
One of the things that they do well, and they being elite athletes in the sport, is they almost make everything cyclical. It's just like a smooth transition, and then there's no like high tension, like real grunt work style movement patterns. It's almost like everything's just nice and smooth, like you're on the row or the bike or something like that.
So his double under to snatch transition was about 6 seconds, and his snatch to toes to bar transition was 3 seconds. So I think the 3-second transition is kind of what you're looking towards, and maybe, what round are we on right now? We're on round...
He's finishing round 7.
So round 7, if he could cut off 2 or 3 seconds of every one of those transitions to from double unders to the dumbbell snatches, that could be 15 to 20 seconds of extra work, which is a lot when it's only a 10-minute workout.
Yeah, good job. He obviously missed there. He wasn't rushing back into it. He reset and then jumped. One of the things I find, especially with those that are like not as great at double unders, they try to rush back in and then there's 3 or 4 misses. And it's just compounding the negative impact that has on your workout.
Oh, a little chalk break here. That's the Noah special.
I think he does a good job. Like, obviously this transition is the slower one, and it's probably the spot where he needs that time, but he does a really good job of pushing into the transitions that he can push into, which I think is important because most people aren't going to be able to sprint through all 3 movements at all times. So figure out where you can always push and where you can always be disciplined in your transitions and hold yourself to that.
Mia, you always talk about picking the transitions that are going to be slower and then picking the ones that are going to be fast, and especially when there's a workout like this with 3 movements, I think that's something you have to think about. Hey, where's my quote-unquote slow transition, whatever that may be for you, and then how can I move quickly through the other 2?
Yeah, and also something to consider, I mean, he's obviously going unbroken, so it's a little bit different of a strategy, but for people that are not going to be able to do that, if you're going to break these movements up into 2, so you're going to go 3-2 on your dumbbell, 4-4 on your toes to bar, 20 and 16 on your double unders, then you're going to have to take that rest breaking and split it up and then be really disciplined about all your breaks within the sets, because you're just adding a number of transitions if you can't do this stuff unbroken.
All right, so what's the strategy for you guys? Will it be unbroken for as long as possible? Max, are you going to try to break toe to bar?
You know, I'm not really sure. I like when I come into the throwdown and I'm not in the first heat, because then I could just watch somebody do it and then try
so
to
you want to steal somebody else's ideas, basically.
If I have to do it on my own, I'll have to think about it. But I think I'll probably go unbroken on the toes to bar for as long as I can, and I think I'll break the double unders. No hablo español.
Mia?
I would, for training purposes, try to go unbroken for as long as I can. I don't know if I can do that for the whole 10 minutes or if it's even the best strategy for my best score, but it's something that I'm working on in training, is starting out a little faster and holding on. So that's what I'm going to do to test myself. I think I can hold on to the toes to bar. The dumbbell snatches would be where I would.
Yeah, that's such a good point, though, Mia. I think that we've talked about this before.
You have a good point.
Mia's point is great. Max's was average. We've talked about this a lot, but like these throwdowns are meant obviously as tests for people, and we do some tests and retests. But for most of them, it still is training in that you're seeing where your limit is. So it's probably good to stay unbroken for some things and kind of see where you're actually at, and then maybe strategize a little bit more for other workouts.
So he's about to finish his 10th round once he gets through the double unders, which means that he basically didn't fall off at all during that second 5 minutes, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, he maintained really good pace.
Yeah, this workout, I mean, you're going to see a lot of people that can go unbroken. It's going to be very dense on the leaderboard, but I love these. It's the same thing as 20.2, right? There were so many people within a couple reps, and then it's all about, can you go faster with the movements, which is something we've talked about, movement speed, and then how fast can you make your transitions?
You can see his double unders too. Yeah, nice little sprint finish. He looked at the clock, so he knows, and he's moving faster now. Yeah. His double unders look like they start to get labored, and he had 2 misses in the previous 2 rounds, so I'm assuming just grip and arms kind of blow up. And
I'll give it to him.
Count it.
For sure.
Great job, man.
So how many rounds was it, Mia?
10 plus
10 plus the snatches,
reps.
plus the toes to bar.
Yep.
Really well done. 2 misses on the double unders, but otherwise very solid, my friend. Thank you. Project Pat, you know the deal.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Pat in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank's YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Pat